Welcome back to Box2Box Football Show Special Edition barengan sama Jerry Arvino dan sobat saya. Siapa? Rahman. Yes. Oh nih yes, di sir. Antara kita sudah ada sosok yang begitu spesial.
Ya. Terutama kayaknya kalau pengguna Twitter tuh harusnya tahu ya, maksudnya karena ataupun mungkin penasaran. Sosok ini karena sering bicara juga soal sepak bola Indonesia. Jadi tentu teman-teman penonton dan juga netizen juga pengen tahu seperti apa sosoknya gitu.
Yes, karena cukup mewarnai timeline kita.
Yep.
Dan nulis buku juga bahkan tentang sepak bola Indonesia, dan kita nanti akan ngobrolin soal itu juga. Tapi yang penasaran juga sebenarnya kan dia legit Inggris, orang Inggris ya, Englishman. Tapi sangat cinta sekali sepertinya dan sangat ngikutin sepak bola Indonesia. The one and only Antony Sutton.
Selamat malam, siang, sore. Good to be back in Indonesia. It really is. Excellent stuff.
Yeah. It's so good to welcome you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and you are an Arsenal supporter, of course, right?
Is it obvious?
Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious. That live in Jakarta. And before we talk about Arsenal, we wouldn't stop to remind you guys to keep the pressure to investigate the Kanjuruhan thoroughly. And as a person who are very, concerned, you have so much concern about the Indonesian football. What's your opinion about it? The Kanjuruhan and the follow-up?
It was, again, a few years ago I was in Egypt, working in Egypt, and I heard about Khairul Huda's death. Yeah. And at that time, that sort of hit me right here. It was like, because I'd only met him a few months earlier. And then I'm in England, and appearing on my timeline is like, something's happened at Malang. I'm like, what the? How can this be happening? And it's really tragic watching it unfold. And there was like 2 or 3 journalists I was following on social media, basically commenting on people dying in front of them. It's difficult. You can't put it into words. You go to watch a football match, you expect to go home afterwards, not to go home in a box. And it was just, words fail you at times like that.
And about the follow-up, I mean, to the
what
tragedy.
Follow-up?
Yeah, what follow-up? Wow, that's the question. Anyway,
it's always going to be complicated things like this, isn't it?
Yeah,
for
I know. Obvious
reasons. So, and also I think it's not helpful when a foreigner comes along and starts passing an opinion about it. Yeah. And I found out after when it was unfolding back at the time, I was getting emails and messages from people in the Western media wanting me to contribute something towards it, and I didn't feel right doing it because number one, I'm no longer in Indonesia anyway, so I'm kind of distant from it, and also number two, I don't think it's a story that should be told by foreigners. It should be told by Indonesians.
Yeah, because I remember you also make a recommendation to Dutch media.
Yeah,
about me. Yeah. So I talked about the situation about Kanjuruhan because Mr. Sutton recommend me to Dutch media, and I think
everyone. I think.
Yeah, a lot of media.
Quite a few.
A lot of foreign media.
BBC interviewed me once.
I think it's a story that it impacted Indonesians. It's about Indonesians, Indonesian tragedy, and it's got to be told by Indonesians, not by some English guy who no longer lives in the country, 15,000 miles away.
Yeah, and it happened in England a few times, and one of the deadliest was Hillsborough, right? But it's they can finally figure out and finish that. Yeah, maybe it's hard here.
Well, I mean,
do you think
it's the combination of many incidents?
Do you think Indonesia will have a same closure with Hillsborough, like
in
Kanjuruhan?
It's taken Hillsborough has taken a long time to get there, a very long time. It's only recently that police have said maybe some mistakes were made. It's only very recently. So the government and the authorities in the UK were very reluctant. At the time, they blamed the fans and only the fans, and the media supported them, blaming the fans. And it's taken 25 years, 30 years before any semblance of justice for people. So, it's... But think about, all the other incidents in Indonesia where, you've had fans falling off trains, going to football matches. You've had other violent incidents of fans dying at football. And there's never any closure, is there? You never find out who was involved, who was arrested, who was to blame. It's just like, we'll wait for the next ones.
They're
football fans, and
Okay. Thank you so much for your concern. And let's move to the best club in London and England.
What?
Your favorite team?
What? In London, yes. In London, yeah. In London, yeah.
He's a Man
in
United
England,
fan.
not probably.
Is he?
Yeah.
I like cheaper.
Yeah. Okay.
So difficult to get good stuff, though, isn't it? You know?
It's obvious that you are supporting Arsenal. And before we record here this, I ask you about what you don't want to talk about, and your answer was
Yeah, Tottenham. Let's not talk about Tottenham.
what?
Can I say the S word?
What do you think of Tottenham?
I've not travelled all this way to Indonesia to talk about an Indonesian book. We're talking about that lot.
Yeah. So, what?
Mind you, they lost last 2 games. So that's quite nice.
Why did you support Arsenal? I mean, of all teams in London, why Arsenal?
I
Because
grew up close to the ground.
Oh,
Support your
that's the
local
only
team.
reason?
It's a good reason, isn't it?
Yeah.
Support your local team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was very young, my nearest team. If you look at it on the map, nearest ground was Arsenal.
Oh.
So
You never regret that choice?
it's not really a choice, is it? It's given to you by higher power.
Yeah.
And oh god, yeah. When you're coming back from losing 3-0 away from home, or anytime you play badly, you go, oh god, what am I doing this for? See you next week.
I really like the words from Mr. Sutton, your football club is given by higher power. That is, destiny when Jerry decide himself to support Arsenal, me decide to support a club from Manchester.
Because they won a few trophies, I guess.
Also me with Persib Bandung in local Indonesia. I think I always believe that when you support a team, it's not because some cheap reason. There's always greater thing and greater being.
Yeah, you form an emotional attachment to the football club, don't you? And the players and the history, and and that develops. The more you go to games, and then the more you develop that attachment to the club. And I find that we talked before about how watching football on television, I can't do it. It's horrible because you get you watch the game, for example, and you're like, oh, that's crap. And the thing is, right, if you're with your mates at the game, you're like. And then, you go for a beer after the game, you kind of forget about it. You just carry on talking like nonsense.
Yeah.
And I've been to games where we've got thrashed. Arsenal got thrashed, and yet we had a really good trip, really good day out. Because you're going there with good friends, you're having a good time with your mates, and the football is just part of the day. Football is not 90 minutes. It's more than 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's the whole day out, and that's why if you're an armchair supporter, you'll never get that. But when you go to the game, it's like. You get on the train, you meet your mates on the train, have a drink, get a bite to eat, go to the ground, get in the ground, have another drink or two, maybe get a kebab or a bag of chips. And then on the way back, you repeat the same thing. The game is only a part of the day out.
Yeah. You know what? Normally, I don't like that jersey. I mean, the second jersey, the away jersey, because I don't like the color and the type. But it fits you a lot because it's the map of Islington, and you're from there. I mean, from London, so
it's also a tent size, so it's pretty massive. It's like 6.
Oh, that's the reason.
I think it's 6XL. It makes me look quite skinny.
So, what's your view, and how do you see the Arsenal today? I mean, the team, the coaches, the young players, and the performance.
Yeah, I think. Okay, we're second or third so far this season.
Yeah.
But we're not playing brilliantly. We're not playing as well as we played last year. We're struggling to find form. We haven't really got a goal scorer, a consistent goal scorer. Arteta's playing around with the goalkeeper. I'm not sure what he's doing with that for. We brought in another guy from Chelsea. It's almost like we're contractually obliged to bring in Chelsea players every once in a while, and he's not contributed very much. So we're doing okay. But, after last season, we started really well and then faded towards the end. I'd rather start slowly and build up the momentum at the right end of the season. So, but I still can't see anybody get past Man City.
So you expect more from the Arsenal, the young guns, or
well, hopefully,
you expect them to lift the title?
Lift
trophy?
No.
No?
No.
Oh wow.
No, 'cause We haven't got a squad that Man City have got. I mean, Man City have been winning trophies like 5-6 years now.
True.
We haven't won anything so in that time. And
Yeah.
we're growing as a squad, but it worries me that maybe Emil Smith-Rowe's not getting many games. So we're getting there, but we still need some more investment, I think.
And let's talk more about yourself. Your username is at Jakarta Casual. I mean, which city you identify as home more? Like London or Jakarta?
Well, I don't live in London. I don't live in Jakarta. I used to live in Tangerang, in Serpong.
So why Jakarta Casual?
So, when I was thinking about a name for the account, I knew that a name would have to be important. And if I called it Tangerang Casual, nobody would know where Tangerang was outside of Indonesia.
Yeah, well,
everybody will think you supporting Tangerang Wolves.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, why not?
The thing is, when I started it, I never thought that Indonesians would read it. I really thought it was just going to be like a few,
a casual
foreign
tweet
Europeans.
from Jakartan, or just like a casual tweet from Jakartan.
Casual blog, yeah. I just thought, it's a strange white guy writing about Indonesian football in English. I never thought that Indonesians would read it, so I wanted to get a name that the foreigners could easily remember. Now, no foreigners heard of Tangerang. No foreigners heard of Serpong. No foreigners heard of BSD, Bumi Serpong Damai. That's casual. So Jakarta Casual is the one that made most sense. Yeah. Because it's short and kind of quite catchy. So, but I didn't realise at the time, obviously there's a rivalry between Jakarta and Bandung. Yeah. And I didn't know that at the time. I'm like, Jakarta Casual.
You know the city name Kendal? You can make it Kendal Casual, so we have rhyme. Well.
Because I asked a person a lot before when we follow each other in Twitter. The first, I think you are the account about casual supporter. When I ask around, everybody think the same. You are a casual account from Jakartan people. Yeah. But then when I see your blog talking about Indonesian football, talking about your experience. That makes me wonder, what makes you passionate, really passionate? I see you are really passionate about Indonesian football.
Well, it's football. When I lived in Australia, I went to Australian games.
Yeah. Why make you really watch that game?
In Australia, it's football.
You enjoy football?
Yeah.
As simple as that?
Yeah.
Anywhere in the
stadium, inside the ground, yeah. I mean, on the way over here, I stopped off in Hamburg. I watched Shakhtar against Barcelona.
Wow.
And then
the Champions League?
Yeah.
Last week?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then on Thursday, I stopped in Singapore to watch Hougang PSM.
Wow.
It's
football.
Champions League,
yeah? AFC Cup, yeah.
AFC Cup, sorry.
Yeah, and then when I get back to England, I'll probably go and watch non-league football.
So, the reason behind is only as simple as your love for football.
Yeah, but I wanted to, because I was getting married. And surely watching this. I was getting married, so I must be nice. And I wanted to do something to sort of keep me away from some of the bars in Jakarta, shall we say. And so I looked around for a hobby. I thought, I know, I'll start writing about Indonesian football. And my wife looks at me and goes, "You're an idiot." So yeah, she's got that right. But then it just really grew from there. And I started going to games and started writing about it, blogging about it. I remember the first game I went to was at Lebak Bulus.
Lebak Bulus?
Yeah, Persija.
Persija against Sriwijaya back in 2006, I think it was.
Okay.
And
6, yeah.
We got inside the ground, and I went into the main stand there, and I come out the alley with the gangway, and I saw the Jack Maney opposite on orange bouncing up and down. I thought, I like this. I can get used to this. And so, from then on, I started going more and more often. And my wife still thinks I'm an idiot, but at least she knows I'm not out getting drunk all the time or chasing other ladies.
Right. This is really good story to start. You watch football in Indonesia from Sumatra. Where is the farthest you watch in Indonesia? Papua, Sulawesi?
Unfortunately, not Papua now. I'm not sure I can handle the flight anymore, but I went to see PSM play Persipura one time in Makassar.
Okay.
Makassar.
Makassar.
Yeah.
Matuanging?
Yeah.
Oh, back then.
PSM 151.
Okay.
In Sumatra, where do you watch?
Sumatra, I've been to, I watched Semen Padang play, and Sriwijaya, and Lupa Lagi.
Okay, that's
Maybe
fine.
some more, yeah.
Yeah.
What is your fond memories about watching that lot of games? Because I think you watch more games than many Indonesians here.
Yeah, I think so. And traveling more.
More.
Around the world, even and around Indonesia. You have like most memorable moments or
in Indonesia.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, in Indonesia.
So many.
Or stories.
Even more.
The interesting one.
We talked about my day trip to Purwakarta,
Okay.
which is when Pelita Jaya played Persija, and Fandi Ahmed was the coach of Pelita Jaya,
Pelita Jaya. Yeah.
and he had a guy called Cristiano Lopez up front, who spent more time on his back
Yeah.
than he did actually playing football, and he I borrowed my wife's car and driver to drive down from Jakarta to Purwakarta. But I travelled with the Jack Mania on the Jack Mania buses.
Ah, okay.
Only like the Metro Minis or the Metro Minis.
With Metro Mini.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all these like Jack Mania and this big booler going, "Oh, what's going on here?" And we got to Karawang, and we had to wait in Karawang for a while because some of the Jack Mania Karawang had been attacked by some Boboto in Karawang.
Wow.
So they had to come and their coach was smashed up apparently. So they had to come and do our coaches. So we're standing, we're sat on the side of the Jalan Tol waiting for that to pick them up. Got to the ground about 3 hours early, and there's nothing to do outside Purwakarta's ground. Absolutely nothing.
Singapore Bangsa, eh?
That's Karawang, Purwakarta.
Right.
It's Libby, Jow, Daddy,
Yeah.
And nothing to do there. And then we got in the ground, waiting. And then during the first half, there's some of the people in the stand next to the away fans started throwing things at Jack Mania. And I thought, well, this is fun. So some Persija fans started throwing stuff back, and then it got worse and worse and worse. And by the time I got to half time, I got a phone call from my wife saying her driver had contacted her and said, it's fighting in the car park. Can we go home now? My car will get damaged. So my wife rings me up and said, go home now. Not a question, just a demand. Go home now.
And did you go home?
So, well, I let her win sometimes. We lost to Persija lost 3-0, but it was 3-0 at half time. So I missed nothing. I missed no action really in the second half.
Okay.
And on the way back on the Jalan Tol to Jakarta, I telephoned my friend, and he says, "You were lucky to leave because it was chaos. The buses were smashed up in the car park, and all sorts of nonsense went on." So that was one of the first experiences I had. It was kind of fun. Yeah,
That is your first hostile experience, or there is any more hostile experience you when you watch Indonesian football?
Very rarely. I mean, people like to say, "Oh, it's dangerous," but I found that most of the times, it's like, especially as a foreigner going, is "Hello, Mister, hello, Mister, take photo, Mister."
So it's
Very
easier
friendly.
for you sometimes.
Yes,
Yeah.
not always maybe for the local people, but I was at a Persib Arama game at Siliwangi one time when there was a pitch invasion and the game was stopped for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. But yeah, 1 or 2 games in Jakarta, but most games have been very just normal, not so much trouble.
Okay. Let's talk out of the field. I mean, something more or something like industry. How do you see the football industry in Indonesia?
That's a very good question. I was talking about this last night with somebody.
Yeah.
Football needs to become an industry so that clubs make money. And one of the ways they do that is through ticket sales. Because I'm imagining that TV money is quite small. And I'm imagining that if PSM got no money for winning the league last season, the sponsorship the league is getting is not very much either. So the clubs need to do something to bring in money to pay salaries. One of the ways to do that is by ticket prices and merchandising. But it's very difficult to develop a business if the fans stop going. If the fans are boycotting because the ticket prices are too high or for whatever reason. How can you develop that like that? And the other thing is also you got now a number of clubs who are not really football clubs. In Italy, you got PSM, you got PSAS, you got Persija, you got Persisolo, you got Persibando, Persibaya. You got clubs with massive history, and then you have clubs like Dewi United, Bayangkara, and Rans Nusantara, who are basically vanity projects, maybe not really football clubs, with no fan base. So okay, maybe they're well run, maybe they play their players on time. But how sustainable is it for somebody just to keep throwing money at a club and getting nothing back out of it? So a club like Persib, who is probably one of the best run clubs in the country, are doing things well by the sound of things. But other clubs are struggling, and if fans are avoiding to go to the games, how's that helping the club?
Yeah.
Because there's no money coming into the teams. So it's across the board. The league needs to do better with sponsorship. The fans need to buy tickets to go to games, buy the merchandising if they can afford it. I appreciate the price is always an issue. But it's difficult. How can you generate a football industry when, if you look at football industries around the world, they are aimed at people with higher incomes. And in Indonesia, people don't have those incomes. So it's difficult, isn't it? But you want the good players. They got to want good salaries. The money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. And what's about your opinion? What's your opinion about viewing or watching habit in Indonesia? I mean, in England there are a lot of pubs. In Indonesia, sometimes like no bar or.
Well, no, I mean, you don't want
that.
You don't really want to replicate the English experience here. I mean, the half of the beauty is it's an Indonesian experience. It's not an English experience. So although I talk about, I go for a drink, maybe, but I appreciate that most Indonesians don't want to do that. That's fine, no problem. But it's kind of interesting when you go somewhere and maybe 4 or 5 hours before kickoff, or even overnight, you have fans sleeping outside the ground. So I've seen it in Seoul, I've seen it in Jakarta, where fans turn up a day before the game and they sleep outside the stadium. And that gives you an indication of, the kind of financial level they're at. So, and these are the hardcore fans who love their teams and travel for the teams. If they can't afford to get a hotel or anything, how can they afford to pay big ticket prices? But they're the ones that you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose those fans.
And do you have any comments about under 17 World Cup tickets? I mean, we're trying to sell the tickets to everyone, but it's only under 17 football.
Well, I tried ordering from England. I couldn't get them. They wouldn't let me order tickets from England. And now I tried to order tickets for Saturday, and they weren't for sale. So, what's the point of having a World Cup tournament in your country and you can't buy tickets for the games on the day?
Because it's sold out, or?
Well, no, you see today.
In
Indonesia, it wasn't sold out today. For the Indonesia game, it wasn't sold out. So for in Jakarta, there was like 6,000 fans there on Saturday or Sunday. That's not a sellout, is it? So why not sell tickets on the day? Why is that such a big crime? Why can't I don't understand why they can't do that. And also, get local schools involved. Get local schools involved. Give some tickets to them. Instead of like just making it a closed shop.
Is that what happened in England? I mean,
no.
No,
but you probably get bigger crowds in England. I mean, I went to see England under 21s recently against Serbia, and the crowd was 15,000.
Oh,
nice crowd.
Yeah, maybe we have to learn a lot
about the crowd. Anthony, I think you see a lot of stadium, a lot of grounds.
Supporters.
Supporter, of course. Which stadium is really your one of
favorite?
Favorite.
I don't really have favourites anymore. I liked Bagaimana is good because it's a football ground. Liverpool, I like that.
Like Liverpool. Maguharjo.
Yeah, Bagaimana. Liverpool, I like. Siliwangi, I like. Because they're like football grounds, proper football grounds. I mean, the best view, you don't get good views at Siliwangi. But
agree.
It's a nice little. It's got character. What was the other one I liked? There's another one I liked somewhere.
I remember you talk on Twitter that you don't really like Emirates because it's
just
we can say modern stadium. You prefer Highbury you prefer Highbury. So
prefer old school grounds rather than new ones.
It's like Stamford Bridge now, right? I mean, Anfield, Stamford Bridge is closer. Is it?
Yeah, but still, Stamford Bridge is horrible.
So
Craven Cottage. I mean,
Yeah, Craven Cottage is alright, but Fulham is like the most expensive ground in the country. It's when they play Arsenal in December, the tickets are about £100 each.
wow.
And my son's like, Daddy, can we go see Fulham Arsenal? Nope, you can't.
So why I asked that, because my friends from Netherlands, he said he likes all the stadium in Indonesia because that reminds him of traditional club in Netherlands, like Go Ahead Eagles, old clubs with old stadium.
Yeah.
He also give his concern and disappointment when Indonesia have big stadium, because he said that your team is like lose their soul when they have the big stadium. Do you think the same thing about when Persija not play again in Lebak Bulus, Persib not play again in Siliwangi?
There's got to be a balance, though, isn't there? I mean, you want to attract newer breed of fans, and they want more comfort. Certainly for me at my age now, Lebak Bulus was never very comfortable. Siliwangi wasn't very comfortable. So stadiums like Pakansari and Patriot.
Patriot, yeah.
The new Patriot is a big improvement on the old Patriot. I don't know if you went to the old Patriot with Persipati there. The new stadium is much more comfortable. But the new grounds have no facilities. So it's kind of like you get there and you sit inside the ground and it's like, wait for the game to start because there's no food, there's no drink inside the ground.
Yeah.
Apart from one guy selling nuts and somebody else with a bag of water.
Okay.
So I think you need a balance. I mean, in England we had grounds like Southampton, which was awful. It looked nice in photographs, but you couldn't see much. And now if you go there, it's awful, but at least you can see okay.
All right. Do you see any similarities between Indonesian and English football? Is there any similarity between English football and Indonesian football?
Good question.
The supporters, the fanatism, or
Yeah, I mean,
the hooligans.
the English fans tend to be not worried about boycotts. They tend to go to games anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Good answer, though.
I mean, for example, if you look at the attendances for the Championship, the second tier, you got Sunderland take about 3,000 to every away game. Every away game. And if you look at Sunderland on the map, it's a long way from anywhere. Middlesbrough recently played Plymouth and Exeter City away from home, and they were like maybe 800-mile round trips, and they took 3,000 time each time. So again, obviously money plays a role in this, but they go to the games through thick and thin. Me and my son go see Lincoln City play sometimes, and they take 500 to away games. Even though they're playing crap, they take 500 to away games, and the fans stick by the team. They don't boycott the team because they're losing or we don't like the coach or they keep going, and that's a big difference, I think. But in other things, I mean, football fans are football fans,
Yeah, football fans.
Yeah. Speaking of football fans, let's see your book here. Sorry, this one. We have Sepakbola, the Indonesian Way of Life, from Jakarta Casual, aka Antony Sutton. What is it about? The story about what?
It's about playing tennis in France.
To be more specific, I mean the supporters or the culture of the fans or
the experience.
The experience of watching football?
For the football experience in Indonesia.
Oh.
So it's going to the games, watching the games, talking to people, talking to players, talking to coaches, talking to fans especially, and just trying to create, give an impression of Indonesian football. And again, the book wasn't written with the Indonesian market in mind. The book was written, I thought I'll get it published in English, which I have done. But I didn't realise that actually when I wrote it, then Uchup rang me up and said, we'll translate it for you. It'll take 2 weeks. It's about 6 months. But
Shout out to Ucup, Andi Bahtiar Yusuf.
Cheers, Ucup. Good man, yeah. But I didn't realise that actually there'd be such a market for it here. So I was actually quite pleased, quite surprised by it all. Yeah.
So this is the book is first published at 2017. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the fifth. The fifth
I
print.
think so, yeah.
The fifth print. The fifth or sixth, I think.
Yeah. And
it's been quite a few.
that explains your experience of Indonesian football. I mean,
again, it's
living here.
basically explaining Indonesian football from a foreign perspective, basically to a foreign market. But it seems to be quite popular in Indonesia, which I'm quite pleased about.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, we flattered. There's foreign guy who lives here for long to write about.
Because I think you start the trend, Mr. Sutton. After you talk about Indonesian football, there is a lot of account in Twitter talk in English.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
English version about we know
The
passive
tactical?
English. I think there is account PSIS and Persis who talk in English also.
So he was the trendsetter.
Yeah.
I was really surprised and happy to hear that. People were reading my accounts in English.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And it's sometimes there was like some confusion at times. And if you go back to when Percy won the league,
Yeah.
remember that? You might remember it. Yeah, you might remember it. I did a story for a newspaper where I said that I don't think Percy will win the league. I think it's going to be Persipura because the mysterious powers behind Indonesian football. And some guy on Twitter said, "Oh, why should we listen to what this guy says? He's Jakarta, he's Persija, Anjing, Jack Mania Anjing." Yeah? And there was a big pile on this guy. All the Bobato piled in this poor little Persib fan. I said, "This is Boula. He's English guy. He doesn't know anything about English football or Indonesian football." And the guy ended up closing his account because the Persib fans came up to support what I'd written, and explained who I was, and I kind of felt, well, you know what, actually feels quite nice. Because there were times I was kind of worried about, is Jakarta casual, is he Persija? Yeah. And obviously I'm not. I'm an Arsenal fan. I mean, football's like wives. You can only have one team at a time. And so it was good that they understood what I was trying to do, and they protected me as it were online.
Because I think you are a phenomenon. When somebody talk about English football in English, it's usual thing, right? Or European football at general is usual, but you talk about Indonesian football, Indonesian games. I think that is anomaly
In English.
in English. Because you also who triggered me to talk about Indonesian football in English.
So you inspire him
My fault now.
to tweet about Indonesian football in
my
English.
case, because I want to spread the news about Indonesian football to our friend in Thailand, in Malaysia, where they cannot speak Indonesia, of course. After that, then I work to international news, as everybody knew. I have friend with many people from foreign country because I spoke a lot in English. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Sutton.
I think it's really good that the Indonesian media are getting that wider recognition outside of Indonesia. I think that's important. Like with the players and that, it's good to see.
Yeah.
You don't really want some English guy talking about it all the time. It's got to be. The best stories come from.
Yeah.
The more accurate stories come from you guys, not from me.
Is there anything you want to share about your book, or maybe what's inside of that, or to the Indonesian football fans?
I don't know, just read it and have an open mind about it. I mean, it's just one guy's opinion, one guy's perceptions of watching football in this country. And, if I ever get a T-shirt made up, it would say something like along the lines of Indonesia, come for Bali, stay for the people. So I think it's the people that make Indonesia so special. And I met two guys last night who asked me the usual questions. Do you think Indonesian football will get better? And I said, nope. And they said, oh, thank you.
How the ratio about people ask that question to you every time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Same here.
But but they still go to the game. They're still passionate about it, and that's what and that is just great to see. People whose careers maybe you follow on social media now maybe working within the game, and there's a lot of good people involved in football here.
Yeah,
a lot of good people, and they're the ones that really you want to be supporting. Say good on you. Well, you did a great job, mate.
Yeah.
So we understand the politics involved in the game.
Yeah. Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Politics and football.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world.
So, but let's highlight the good people who are involved, who are doing their best to try to make the difference around it in their own little way.
Yeah.
About this game in this mental country.
At least all we need is a hope. So we got it. Hope and potential, and let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, always like that.
and yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Antony Sutton, for the time.
Thank you
and
for
the
inviting
insights
me.
and the stories.
See you guys.
Yeah. Where we can find this?
I've got no idea.
E-commerce?
I've got no idea.
Yeah. Anywhere,
it's going to be online. I think it's online. So
It's online.
Yeah.
Online.
Just Google it.
It's not available in bookshops.
We cannot tell the
Sepakbola, the Indonesian Way of Life. Just Google it. You can find it anywhere online.
Or if you follow me or Box2Box on Twitter, then they'll find it.
Yeah.
But it's not available in
share the
bookshops,
link.
which is also actually quite remarkable. And it's sold so well because it's not available in any bookshops.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. And we hope that Indonesian football fans could get the insights from him
And start going to
inspiration.
It's really good book about experiences. Really good.
And start going to games as well.
Yeah.
Get involved in the game.
So
Do
you
your
can,
bit.
you can feel the experience of traveling around the world to watch football, or especially Indonesian football.
Yeah.
Traveling around Indonesia to watch football by reading this book. So go find it on Google. It's Sepakbola, the Indonesian Way of Life. Thank you so much for the time.
Terima kasih.
Yeah.
Terima kasih.
See you on the next episode.